여기 관계자야?
Many people have been anticipating the second season of Squid Game, the most watched program on Netflix ever. In order to win prizes in the first season, participants had to compete in a number of lethal kid-friendly games. The upcoming season, which is also expected to break yet another Netflix record, delves more into the limitations and economic background of the surrealistic games. The dystopian life situations that motivate players to enter the fatal competition in the first place are highlighted by the fact that almost 1/3 of the season is staged outside of the actual game environment. Squid Game Season 2 is a distinctly South Korean tale in many respects. Due in large part to a dysfunctional social security system, the nation has one of the highest household debt levels in the world. Above all, a supposedly public healthcare system places a significant burden on people who need specialized procedures or treatments. Among young Koreans, gambling has also become a major social and economic issue. Aside from that, Season 2 emphasizes a particular aspect of a capitalist system based on zero-sum competition. Individuals are lured into it by the prospect of fairy tale profits for a select few, even though it means catastrophic losses for the majority. The delusion of choice. Squid Game explores the reasons why the general public initially supports the system, in contrast to other modern criticisms of capitalism that frequently focus on the actors operating behind the scenes. It portrays a very serious financial abyss for each individual. The motive of greed, which was brilliantly captured in the 1987 movie Wall Street, is not avoided in Squid Game. But the documentary juxtaposes this avarice with a larger backdrop of unpaid medical bills, personal bankruptcy, and gambling losses from botched cryptocurrency investments. Squid Game offers a startling viewpoint on modern capitalism and the reasons why billions of people worldwide embrace it. Untended health problems, privatized insecurity, and collapsing public services are not only byproducts of neoliberal economic policies. Rather, they are intended to force individuals into the system. For nearly every participant in the game, it is their last remaining choice. Everyone is thrown into the game against their choice. Nobody chooses to play. In many capitalist nations, a decreasing middle class has managed to thrive by avoiding the possible abyss that its role in the game offers. Similar to how Squid Game participants adopt the game as their sole means of subsistence, we also adopt capitalism since we have no other option. Globally speaking, the program emphasizes how widespread poverty and a lack of public infrastructure compel large segments of the populace in so-called developing nations to engage in exploitative, sometimes fatal, working conditions. Professors Carl Cederstrom and Peter Fleming have examined the experiences of first-world white-collar workers in their book Dead Men Working, while business professor Bobby Banerjee has examined the latter element under the heading of necrocapitalism. The prospect of further. The recurring votes and disputes over the game's continuance emphasize the promise of more, which is the main reason why so many people keep playing the larger capitalist system. Some young investment bankers have been physically working themselves to death lately. The idea that private gain is the defining trait of capitalist society has been thoroughly studied. The Squid Game capitalizes on people's almost ridiculous need to have faith in their own abilities to live and win. Players' nearly transcendental beliefs that they are destined to be the only winner of the games are fueled by the brutality and bloodshed of the game itself. However, these aspirations go counter to the player's fundamental humanity. Family ties, previous friendships, shared experiences, compassion, and spirituality are all evident throughout the show, and camaraderie grows as the participants collaborate. However, the strict logic of the overall game ultimately eclipses them. The most egregious contemporary example of this type of behavior is the American banker Bernie Madoff, who mercilessly plundered Jewish families and relatives for his own benefit. Millionaires who are momentarily embarrassed. Since the games don't start until episode 4, some commentators complained that Season 2 is overly preoccupied with the participants' personal life. Nonetheless, it may be argued that this change makes the connection between the player's actual life and the games much clearer. Consequently, it intensifies the show's criticism of capitalism. Even though the series' primary attraction is unquestionably the high-stakes games, its underlying message, which is amplified in the second season, remains a major factor in its success. The characters' willingness to sacrifice their lives in the hopes of valiantly obtaining another lease on life in the face of overwhelming obstacles is relatable. Many Americans in the middle and working classes consider themselves to be temporarily embarrassed capitalists, as American author John Steinbeck famously stated. This way of thinking captures the unrelenting involvement in a capitalist system that provides very little chance of achievement. Squid Game Season 2, which examines how people justify playing a game that otherwise goes against their most fundamental human tendencies, serves as an example of this dynamic. I think of the line, "Following the drums / the calves trot / the skin for the drums / they deliver themselves," from Bertolt Brecht's satirical song March of the Calves. It serves as a frightening metaphor for how the prospect of achievement frequently causes us to lose sight of the potential costs to our own well-being.